ॐ वाङ् मे मनसि प्रतिष्ठिता मनो मे वाचि प्रतिष्ठितम् आविराविर्मयेधि वेदसमआणिस्थः श्रुतं मे मा प्रहासि अनेनाधीतेनाहोरात्रान् सन्दधामि ऋतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्मामवतु तद्भक्तारमवतु अवतु माम् अवतु भक्तारमवतु भक्तारम्। ॐ शान्ति 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 हरिः ॐ। Om, may my speech be accorded with the mind. May my mind be accorded with the speech. O self-effulgent one Brahman, reveal thyself to me. May you both, speech and mind, be the carriers of the highest truth to me. May not all that I have heard depart from me. May I be able to join day and night through this study with Brahman. I shall utter what is verbally true. I shall utter what is mentally true. May that Brahman protect me. May that Brahman protect the teacher. May that protect me. May that protect the teacher. Om, peace, peace. Peace be unto you all. Good morning. This morning I am going to speak on the Easter message. Although the Easter and Good Friday we have enjoyed, but yet I thought it is an opportunity to offer my respect to that great incarnation, Son of God. The word Easter, it came from the word Esther. It is connected with spring. Esther is the Anglo-Saxon goddess of dawn. Dawn is the breaking of the night. And the Easter is connected with spring. And if we think little deeply, we can understand that what is the condition of a spring after winter. And again, the goddesses of the dawn means the breaking of night. So it is a kind of awaking. It is a kind of waking up. In the winter, everywhere is covered with snow, and in the night, people sleep. That means, as it were, in winter and in the night, nature and human being, they go into slumber. And in spring, we find a kind of waking up of a new life, of a new day. The goddess of dawn means after the night, the sun breaks, and it is a waking up of a new day. So Easter is connected with that kind of concept. And afterwards, it was connected with the resurrection of Jesus Christ, because it is the awakening, it is a kind of getting the life. So it can be easily connected with the resurrection of Jesus Christ. In the Old Testament, we find the concept of resurrection. It is said that it is a renewal of life, and it is very common to Jewish people. So they believed that all dead bodies would arise at doomsday. And on that day, after the judgment, some would get the eternal life in the heaven, while those who had led lives of a sin or corruption would be doomed to eternal death and damnation. So the word resurrection is not actually used in the Old Testament, but the idea is there, that there is some kind of getting life from the dead. So all these description, you can find that the concept of Easter is a kind of getting life, waking up. So this is the concept, and resurrection. So it is easily connected with resurrection. We know that Jesus Christ was crucified, and after 3 days, when Mary saw him, and he came to his disciples. That's a new life. So everything is the concept of that kind of thing. So in the Old Testament, we find this kind of passage, and many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. The Jewish people also had a strong belief that the time would come when God would revive his Israel. So this Israel word has two meanings. One is the country Israel, and another is the son. So it was believed, and there are two different opinions. So it is said that thy dead men shall live together with my dead body, shall they arise, awake and sin, yet that dwell into dust, for thy dew is the dew of herbs, and the earth shall cast out the dead. So in this way it is said that the resurrection of the Israel, I don't know whether it was meant as a country or it was meant as the Isha's son. However, still we find the resurrection is there in the concept of resurrection is there in the Old Testament. In the New Testament, Saint Paul has given another meaning of resurrection. In his first letter to Corinthians, we read in this way, but some men will say, how are the dead raised up? And with what body do they come? Thou fool, that which thou swayest is not quickened, except it die. So, let me explain this meaning. If we see what body, if resurrection takes place, we know the concept of resurrection and how it is connected with the nature and how it is connected with the word Easter. Now, let us see in which body, because we know that Jesus came to his disciple and in his form, but in which body? Let us explain that. It is said in the Bible, all flesh is not same flesh, but there is one kind of flesh of man, another flesh of beast, another flesh of fishes, and another flesh of birds. There are also celestial bodies and bodies of terrestrial, but the glory of the celestial is one and the glory of terrestrial is another. So also is the resurrection of dead. It is sown in corruption, it is raised in incorruption. It is sown a natural body, it is raised a spiritual body. There is a natural body and there is a spiritual body. See, very clearly it is said. So, when a man dies, a person dies, and when resurrection takes place, it is not the same body. It is not the same flesh. And it is very clearly explains that the two are completely different, as the flesh of a bird is not similar to a flesh of a fish, and flesh of a man is not same as the flesh of a beast. So it is very clearly said. It is evident from St. Paul's word. This is from 5th Gospel, the St. Paul. So, it is evident from St. Paul's word, he did not think that resurrection is actually the physical body rising from the dead. It is the spiritual body that rises. And we know that after resurrection, when Jesus appeared before his disciple, the body was the spiritual body. So historical Jesus, after resurrection, became spiritual Jesus. So, spirit cannot be changed in any way. We know the spirit is one, the self is one. It is too pure, too perfect to be molded into the physical body or any kind of form. Now let me explain the subtle body. What kind of subtle body was that? What is the nature of the spiritual body? We could understand that when resurrection takes place, the person appears in spiritual body. It is not same. So what is the spiritual body? Let us explain that. Actually, St. Paul meant a body made of fine material. And here we find a beautiful similarity between the Christian theology and Indian philosophy. Here we find the similarity. Exactly same concept is there in Indian Vedanta. It is called subtle body. And what is subtle body? Each human being has three types of body according to Vedanta. The physical body, which is made out of flesh, blood, bone, etc., etc. And this physical body is connected with the physical world. Then there is subtle body. Subtle means subtle. What is the concept of subtle? A certain particle is gross and we can see it, we can touch it. But when the particle is subtle, say as for example, subatomic particle, that is a particle, that is a matter. This wall is a matter. But what is the concept of the subatomic particle of this wall? That is also matter, but in a very subtle state. Exactly in the same way, the gross body is the gross matter, and the subtle body is also matter, but made out of very subtle element. What is the example of it? What is the proof of it? The proof of it is dream. In dream, what we see? In dream, we see exactly our body is moving, although our physical body is sleeping. Our physical body is lying down on the bed, but we are moving, we are traveling, we are talking, we are driving, we are running, everything we are doing, and with the same body, but in different material. Exactly this is the concept of subtle body. That subtle body is made out of very subtle element. It cannot be seen. It cannot be seen in physical eyes because our physical body is connected with the physical world. In the waking state, can you dream? Or in the dreaming state, can you see the physical person? It is impossible because these are two layers to completely different watertight compartment. So in the subtle body, in the subtle state, we are connected with the subtle world. And the gross world is completely different from subtle world. You are mentally suffering in the gross world. You are very sad in the waking state. But when you sleep, you are dreaming, you are extremely happy person. So if the state changes and the body changes, our mental vibration also changes. So this is the concept of Vedanta. Now, let us connect it or compare it with Bible. And it is very clearly said in in St. Paul, that the two bodies are not same, as fleshes are not same. So what is the concept of spiritual body? What is the body that is taken in the resurrection state? So, this is the similarities between two states. St. Paul meant a body made out of such fine, subtle element that spiritual consciousness could be manifest through it. That is the kind of spiritual body one gets in resurrection. And you find, I shall come to that point, when Jesus appeared before his disciples, the room was closed and the disciples was sitting inside the room. But Jesus appeared. Just think about this subtle body. In subtle body, in dream, we can enter, we can go anywhere else within a second. And what is the state of our mind? We are sitting here, but in a fraction of a second, we can travel thousands and thousands of miles. So there are different characteristics of subtle body, which we cannot get in our gross body. So the more subtler, the more powerful. And Vedanta says there is another body, which is called causal body. And what is the proof of it? What happens in our deep sleep? Can we experience our body just like dream state? We can. We do not experience that in our deep sleep state. But somebody is watching, some awareness is there in our deep sleep also. Because when we get up, we can express our experience that I had a very good sleep. So definitely somebody was there who can experience in the deep sleep also. So there is a body in deep sleep also. But what is the condition of that body? It is way subtler. And in that subtler body, even we cannot experience the existence of body. Because in deep sleep, we cannot experience the body. Only a kind of higher, subtler level mind or experience, I would say, is working. In subtle level, mind is working. Because sometimes in dream, you experience fear. Certain times in dream, you experience joy. So joy, fear, anger, These are the qualities of our mind. These are the reactions of our mind. But in deep sleep, we do not have the function of our mind, only the experience. I had a good sleep. So that is also a body according to Vedanta, and it is called the causal body. We cannot see that body, we cannot experience that body. The body consciousness goes, the mind dissolved, mind consciousness goes, but only a kind of experience exists. Now, according to Vedanta, it is possible that a person can retain the subtle body if he is worthy of resurrection. It is not the same as gross physical body, but the subtle body is a physical body. Generally, ordinary person cannot retain the subtle body after losing gross body. When our gross body is cremated or buried after death, we ordinary people cannot retain our subtle body. But there are few persons, the great persons, they can retain their subtle body. Let us give some example. One of the examples is Jesus Christ. After crucifixion, Jesus, it is the Saint John, the Gospel of Saint John. It is said that after his resurrection, Jesus Christ entered into a room where his disciples were gathered, even though the doors remained closed. This happened again 80 days later. If he wore the same physical body of flesh and blood that was crucified, Jesus Christ could never have appeared to his disciple in this manner. So few incarnations, they have that capacity or power that they can retain their subtle body and they can appear. But the point is that can anybody see our dream body? As for example, in our dream, we talk with our friend, we meet with our friend, we can see them, but they cannot see us. But here, the difference is this: all the disciples, they saw Jesus Christ, even though he was in subtle body. Do you think it happened only in the life of Jesus Christ? No. We find this kind of happenings in the life of other incarnations, because the incarnations only, they can retain their subtle body after the demise of their gross body. Take the example from the life of Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna also appeared to a select few after his death in the year 1886. He passed away just after 1 o'clock in the morning, and when the doctors had pronounced his body dead, it was cremated. That same evening, he appeared to his virgin wife, the Holy Mother. According to Hindu custom, widows give up all bodily decorations after the passing away of their husband. They wear a plain white sari without borders and remove all jewelry and ornaments. But as the Holy Mother was removing her bracelet, Sri Ramakrishna appeared to her and said, "What are you doing? I have not gone away. I have just passed from one room to another." Holy Mother understood that she need not live like a widow, since there was no death of Sri Ramakrishna. Exactly the same way we find in the life of Jesus. From that time, Holy Mother wore a sari with a thin red border and kept 2 gold bracelets. On later occasions also, the Holy Mother and other disciples saw Sri Ramakrishna in a physical form as he used to be. So resurrection, according to Hindu view, is not the reviving of a particular body of flesh and blood. For the great spiritual personalities, they can retain their subtle body and they can move to their nearer and dearer. Resurrection and eternal life do not depend on revival of a body, whether it is subtle or gross. Vedanta holds that body is not an essential part of the same. Till now, what we have discussed, we may have the concept that after death, the incarnations, they can retain the subtle body. But it is not. The incarnation, even if they have the gross body, they can easily travel in the subtle body. They can work through subtle body. And it is for the good of the humanity. Our real nature is pure spirit, and real life depends on the state of mind and not the body. So subtle body is our real body. Gross body, it goes. It has no meaning. It changes 6 times in our lifetime. If you closely look at it, you can find our gross body changes 6 times in our lifetime. It is called in Sanskrit Shada Vikara. So it has no meaning. We changes, the physical body changes. So what is our actual nature? What is our actual body? Our actual body is the mind. Our actual body is the mind. Mind changes, but behind the mind also there is the causal body and the consciousness. Consciousness never changes. Even the fall of our gross body, consciousness remains. In the subtle body, we do not understand that because we are not the incarnation. Only incarnation can retain their subtle body in consciousness. We can only experience our subtle body in dream and causal body in deep sleep. But why we cannot experience this? It is because our consciousness is covered by ignorance. But for the incarnations, their consciousness is not covered by the ignorance. So they are aware about their causal body or subtle body. Why cannot we remember what happened in our past life, as Vedanta believes, or all Indian philosophies? They believe the rebirth. Why do not we or cannot we remember our past life? Because of ignorance. If our consciousness is not covered by the ignorance, we can remember that, because consciousness is eternal. That is what it is said, that the moment you overcome the delusion of body idea and know that you are unchanging spirit, there is no death for you. Only death is connected with what? Death is connected with physical body. In subtle body, no death. Subtle body continues, and continues with what? Continues with our all samskaras, all impressions. And that is what is said. So when we can conquer the death, death means the falling of the body, gross body. So if we think that we are the spirit, so there will be no death. We can conquer death, and that is the resurrection. Being live in subtle body is the resurrection, because that is our real nature. But still, that is a body, and that suffers. In dream also we suffer. So go beyond that. That is the ideal. The great spiritual leaders like Jesus Christ and Sri Ramakrishna are our demonstrations of the principle of everlasting life. They lived with full spiritual consciousness, never identifying themselves with the physical body. Their resurrections were for the good of others, for they were ever beyond death. So we are shown by their exemplary lives that it is not the body that creates our bondage and death. It is not the body in any form that leads us to freedom and immortality, Jesus Christ and Sri Ramakrishna prove that even while living in this body, one can gain a real life by realizing the spirit within. And that is why Jesus Christ said, I am the resurrection. So resurrection is not an event. Jesus said, I am the resurrection and the life. He that believeth in me, though he were dead, yet shall he live. And whoever liveth and believeth in me shall never die. So this is the concept of Easter. So Easter is not merely connected with the nature. I would say Easter is spiritual. And we are experiencing the festival of Easter in every moment of our life. Easter reminds us that you are not the gross body. You are the spirit. You are in another body. Your real nature is another body. Your real nature is spiritual. The consciousness. That is the significance of Easter. And if we can imbibe the spirit with the life, and we can understand the life of Jesus and resurrection, not merely practicing the fasting or ritual thing, if we try to understand and imbibe by the spirit of a real Easter, then we can actually transform our life. That is the goal. Do you have any question? Yes.
At death, does the gross and the subtle body die and the causal body transmigrate?
No. Subtle body, it is said that subtle body doesn't die. Gross body dies.
The gross body does, but how are the subtle body and the causal body connected?
As this subtle body and gross body is connected, these are the different phases, the different levels of our consciousness. These are not three bodies standing side by side. These are the different levels of our consciousness. As for example, the gross waking state, dream state, and the deep sleep state are not three particular bodies are experiencing. One person is experiencing in different levels of his consciousness, his or her consciousness. Exactly in the same way. These are not three different bodies. These are different levels of consciousness. Right now I am standing here, but if I can elevate my consciousness into the deep sleep level, I can experience the deep sleep. What yogi does. They do not sleep. The few yogis are there, they never sleep. So their consciousness, they can, in yoga, they can elevate their mind into that level. and they can get the exact same effect of deep sleep. Yes, please.
What does Vedanta say about the concept of ghosts?
Actually, I tried to eliminate this topic, although it is connected with that. But anyway, yes, ghosts also appear in the body of very fine physical elements after death. But they appear in a certain place because of very strong attachment at the time of death. So what is the difference between an incarnation and a ghost? Both they appear before somebody in the same body. So what is the difference? The difference is that incarnation, they do not have a single attachment with the worldly things. But the ghost, they have the attachment with the worldly things. They have no control over their ghost body and live in darkness after death, just as they did when they were living on the earth. Eventually, they must be reborn on the human plane, but they continue in that state unless their attachment with the gross thing. So you see, the ghosts are a kind of peculiar state. They have a tremendous attachment for the gross world. So they are trying to enjoy the gross world, but they do not have the gross body. Unless they have the gross body, they cannot enjoy the gross thing. Do you understand? So they are trying to enjoy, but they cannot. As for example, you have lots of food before you, but you are unable to eat. Exactly in the same way. And as ghosts cannot see us because they are in different plane, only incarnation can see us because they have that power. And gross people also can see the incarnation in their spiritual body. As the disciple of Jesus, they were able to see, and Holy Mother was able to see. But ordinary people, they cannot see, and ghosts also cannot see the ordinary people, because these are two different. As we cannot see a gross person in our dream state. And now we are waking state. We cannot see a person is moving or going in a dream state. Who is dreaming somewhere else and is sitting on that chair, we cannot see him. And he also cannot see us. But in dream, as for example, in India, it is night. So somebody is dreaming that I am sitting on a chair at Berkeley Temple. So this is the concept of ghost. Any question? Yes.
I have a friend who is in the Christian tradition, and I talked to him about some of these ideas. And something he emphasized is that the Christian tradition, talks about this it's the material body and the spiritual body. But very importantly, it emphasizes that this gross body as well is like a gift from God and then should be cherished and taken care of. And he was kind of worried, like, if we say I'm not the body, it might make people not take care of this body, or say, oh, I just throw this body away. I guess, are there, in Vedanta, is there any discussion of, why should we take care of this gross body? This kind of thing?
Oh, definitely.
Right, I think so.
Oh, definitely it is there. So it is very simple. It is only in one word, if I can explain your question, is that the attachment. So, as long as we want to enjoy, what happened with the ghost? Yeah. So they are unable to enjoy the world because they do not have the gross body, and world is a gross. So they are trying to do that, and as a result, they try to assume their gross body quickly, although they don't have their control over it. So those who have the huge attachment with the gross body, they have to come back and assume the gross body. But what kind of gross body you will take, that is also a debatable question. Just 1 minute. Debatable question. So, it depends upon your work. If you do good work, you will take birth in a very good family, in a very good atmosphere, environment. So it depends upon your work. That is the unique concept of Vedanta. That you are the maker of your own destiny. If you do good work, this work theory is so powerful. If you do good work, you will take good birth. It is not only the Upanishadic concept, even in Patanjali Yoga Sutra also we find. And Patanjali Yoga Sutra, it is, I am talking on the basis of the Indian scripture. And Patanjali has gone one step further. He very clearly says, our work is so powerful, our thought is so powerful, and it is good in one sense, and it is so powerful that forget about what you have done. Start from this moment and do good work, think good things, and good samaskar. And the result of your work, Patanjali Yoga Sutra says, Jati Ayush Bhoga. Jati means what kind of body you will assume in your next birth. Second, Ayush, how long you will live. And Bhoga, how much suffering and how much enjoy you will do in your next life. Just imagine how powerful it is. Yes. Huh?
You answered my question.
I have answered? Okay, thank you.
In regards to what you just said, sometimes I'm thinking that suffering is kind of paradoxically very instructive for us and we benefit. So it seems like maybe we would choose, if we were in an advanced evolution, and we might come back and say, I would like to come back, in a very suffering situation.
See, let me explain it. The suffering and happiness has no value, no meaning at all. Has no meaning, no value at all. I have already mentioned it in my talk, that if you change the state, there is nothing. In the waking state, you are suffering. And when you sleep, do you suffer? No. So, just try to understand. It is not that if I face suffering, it is a kind of austerity, and it is good for my spiritual growth. This is only in the state of gross level. But see, this suffering is also immaterial, because in the sleeping state, you do not have any suffering. In the deep sleep state, you do not have any suffering. Rather, you may have the completely different experience. You will enjoy. You will dreaming that you are the most happiest person in this universe. So completely different. So this happiness and suffering is very, very immaterial issue, because it depends upon our mental state. You change the mental state, it will go. And not only that, there are various ways to understand and to deal with this suffering and all this kind of thing. Because this suffering, anger, jealousy, all these things are residing in our mind, and these are the reaction of the event. So if you give the reaction or not, it depends upon you. These are not we. These are not directly connected with us. Something happened somewhere. You are standing here, and you are jumping into it and giving your reaction. Just try to understand, visualize the situation. If you restrain yourself, no, this is an event, this is a situation, I only want to watch it, I do not give any reaction. Whether it is good, bad, or miserable, I would not give any reaction. This is a simple practice.
I'm just saying that when I was a little child, I had an immature idea about things. I had a lot of experiences, and I can see now that through experience, I've acquired some ability to do just as you say, to be better at standing aside, to be, I've acquired some skills through the material world. I mean, I'm not the same mind that I was when I began my journey here in this life. So I feel like I have benefited from what looks like maybe some pretty unwise choices I made, or something, and consequences that ensued. I've learned something. So it seems like there's some learning going on here that's useful. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, that's fine, but the point is, the most of the part of your statement, it looks like you are talking about the gross state of thing. But as a Vedantist or as a student of Vedanta, you must see all the three levels. And because we are not restricted in only one level. So as we don't know which level is correct, because we are thinking that only waking state is the perfect and it is the real state. Who told you? In dream state is also like that. When we are dreaming, we think dreaming is the real thing. So in the deep sleep, nothing is there. So we are not sure which one is correct. Try to keep this view. Nothing is real. In the waking state, in the dream state, and in the deep sleep state. Nothing is real. So why do you bother about this? If it is in 1 second, when you sleep, it goes. Do you think it has any value? You tremendously, you become angry and you are doing this. 1 second it will go. But if you try to hang in with this and you try to drag it along with you, then you will in that state. And you will, if it is a good state, you will continue good state. If it is bad state, you will continue bad state. It is very simple. There is no but, no if. Anything? Otherwise, we can conclude. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukhamapnumat Sarvastarotu Durgani Sarvo Bhadrani Pashyatu Sarva Sadbuddhimapnotu Sarva Sarvatra Nandatu Durjana Sajjano Bhuyat Sajjana Shantimapnuat Shantamucchete Bandhebhyo Muktaschanyan Vimochayet. May all be happy. May all enjoy good health. May all see happy events. May all be freed from miseries. May all be freed from dangers. May all realize what is good. May all be actuated by noble thoughts. May all rejoice everywhere. May the wicked become virtuous. May the virtuous attain tranquility. May the tranquil be free from bondages. May the freed make others free. May the Supreme Spirit, the presiding deity of all sacred activities, be satisfied, for he being pleased, the whole universe feels satisfied. Om, peace, peace. Peace be unto you all. We have few announcements. Next month, May, we have a guest speaker. So next month, on 12th, that will be the Mother's Day, it looks like. So on 12th, we will have a guest speaker. A Swami is coming from India, and he is going to speak. Probably on gospel. So I request you all to, and as usual we will have all the Sunday lectures as usual in May. Thank you. And tea and coffee will be served in our Sardananda hall, which will be followed by Prasad luncheon. You all are welcome. Thank you.